Hi guys, welcome to Ballyhoolish. We're about to head out on the bikes up to Glencoe, so why don't you come along and join us? The stone in the field behind us here is known as the Henderson Stone. It gets its name from the clan Henderson, who inhabited the glen before the MacDonalds were given a title to the land by Robert the Bruce after the Battle of Bannockburn. The field would traditionally have been a gathering place for the Hendersons, but the stone itself has an interesting story related to the Massacre of Glencoe. It's said that a soldier sat on the stone watching a couple of boys playing shinty, and as one of the boys came towards him, the old man kicked the stone with his foot and he said, "Old rock of the glen, nobody can dispute your right to be here, but if I were you, I would roll myself out of the glen tonight." The young boy took the warning, went back and told his family, and apparently they managed to escape before the massacre took place early in the morning of the following day. This is in Berrigan, right in the heart of Glencoe itself. And although the ruins behind us here come from after the 1692 massacre, there was a house here before. And the legend goes that in this house there were 10 inhabitants. And when the massacre was in full swing, some soldiers burst into the house and unfortunately murdered 9 of the family. One survived, a young boy who managed to hide underneath some furniture. But as the soldiers left the building, the boy crawled out from under the furniture and saw what had happened to his family. He yelped, he let out a scream or a cry, and the officer, hearing the cry, turned to one of his soldiers and told him to go in and finish the job. The soldier went in with his sword, saw the young boy and realised that he could not be a part of this, he could not do this to a young child. So he hushed the child, took his sword, took the boy's pinky and cut it off, using the pinky to smear the blood on the blade to convince the officer that the deed was done. Many years later, in an inn not far from here, the soldier, an older man, was in his cups, he was having a drink, and apparently he was letting all his sorrows out to the barkeep. And the biggest sorrow for him was his part in the Glencoe massacre. And he told this story about this young boy. And the barman turned to him and says, "Dinna fash yourself, all is forgiven." And he held up his hand with the pinky missing. Behind the house itself here, there are 9 pine trees, and those pine trees were planted to commemorate the 9 members of the family who sadly lost their lives. So we've pushed our bikes a short way from the road to the base of Signal Rock here. The area we're on just now is called Tomagranyan, which means the Hill of the Sun. And tradition has it that it gets its name from the fact that before all of the trees around us here were here, you could see where the sun rose and you could see where the sun set at the same time. So we're just going to take a little hop around onto Signal Rock itself, and we'll lay down exactly what part it played, apparently, in the Massacre of Glencoe. We are on the top of Signal Rock, and legend has it that the MacDonalds in times of emergency, in times of need, would come and meet here at the rock to listen to proclamations from the chief. And it was also well known as being a beacon site because, again, before the trees were here, how far up the glen and how far down the glen you could see the rock from, if there were enemies coming from one way or another, sentinels would put a beacon up here, a fire, so that to warn the inhabitants of the glen that danger was afoot. Now, around about the 1970s, a kind of rumour began to start that the government soldiers had actually used Signal Rock as a beacon to tell Glenlyon's troops to begin the massacre. However, we do know that that wasn't the case. The orders had come to Glenlyon the night before, telling him that at 5 AM on the morning of the 13th of February, he was to set upon his hosts, the MacDonalds, and the Signal Rock would have had absolutely nothing to do with it. If anything, a fire up here within sight of all the clansmen would probably have warned them that something was afoot, and they would have arisen before Glenlyon's troops were able to set upon them. But what a magnificent and beautiful spot it is, and I can only imagine what the views must have been like before all of these trees kind of grew up round about. But at least on a day like this, when the sun's beating down, it gives you a nice bit of shade. Wonderful. Here we are at the high point of our journey today, with the three sisters of Glencoe behind us. Up on the left we have Benfada, in the middle is Gir, and over on the right hand side is Anachdu. The glen above us here is known as the Hidden Valley, because the MacDonalds of Glencoe, when they reaved or stole the cattle from neighbouring clans, they would hide them up there in the glen, so that when those clans came angrily rushing through looking for the property, they'd be unable to find them, and the MacDonalds would be able to deny all knowledge of their exploits. Up ahead of us here, at the head of the glen, the east end of the glen, during the 1692 massacre, there would have been government soldiers there to seal off the exit so that none of the clansmen, the MacDonald clansmen, could escape. As you can see, obviously it's a really beautiful and very remote feeling place. Unfortunately the 882 runs right through the middle of it, but way back in the day this would have been a reasonably well populated area. There would have been little valleys or bailies, little crofts and communities of people spread out all over the place. Up on the left hand side we've got Anachdu, which is a very, very famous ridge walk. And over to the right hand side here we've got the tail end of the Three Sisters of Glencoe, and Bitchin up just south of us there, and this is Achnambithic, this croft here, which again, once upon a time this would have been the site of a valley. This would have been a small settlement of the clansmen. So that's us for just now. We're going to be heading back on down the glen for our next stop. stands in the east end of Glencoe village. It was erected in 1883 to commemorate the victims of the massacre. Every February, the Clandonald Society gather here in Glencoe and lay a wreath to remember those that were lost. Here we are, back in Ballachulish at the end of our journey. Behind me here you can see Elan Monday, which means the island of the dead, and that's where McKean MacDonald, the chief of the clan, was buried after the massacre. We really hope you've enjoyed your little journey with us today. We miss having you guys here, but we're really looking forward to be able to welcome you here in Scotland, to be able to see all of these wonderful places for yourselves. Thanks very much.